This is Earth if the semi-popular YouTube channel No Games was never invented. The planet you're seeing is actually called Reach. If that doesn't mean anything to you, then you need to read up on your Halo lore. Oh, I don't read Halo lore. You know what else you don't read? Messages from girls. I love how I started this video by yelling at my audience. I promise, I'm not always this aggressive. This diverse group of individuals isn't the cast of the latest Netflix show that, let's be honest, will be super mid, but loved by basic white teens that have nothing going on in their life save their parents' divorce. It was my team, and this was the leader.
2, 4, 5, 6.
Wow, I see why he's in charge. What's he gonna show us next? The alphabet? Little known fact, dodo birds went extinct relatively recently due to humans hunting them without restrictions. It's good to see some things never change.
On your knees, now!
Sees a brown person and gets defensive? I didn't know we were bringing airport security on this mission. We ran over some speed bumps and then door dashed ourselves to this facility. We stormed it, and this must be how the Americans felt on D-Day, except a lot less cool since they didn't have a forklift. The game took away my ride, and then we got attacked by these zealots. Coincidence? I think not. Elite zealots were Covenant Special Forces. They had more health, more training, and most notably, more chromosomes.
Got enemy contact. Spartans.
Thanks, I'd almost missed a dozen aliens firing at me. We were outmanned and outgunned, but we had one thing they didn't. No, not each other. This isn't an 80s sports movie. We had the power of the forklift, which was almost as strong as the power of karma. I hopped in my purple Bugatti and then switched to one that didn't look like it was driven by a white girl that just got her license. I homie hopped to yet another car. I can't tell if this is Halo or Grand Theft Auto.
Elevator, Lieutenant. Take it.
Thanks, Cat. I was gonna just climb up the side of the building, like I was Spider-Man or something. I made these planes less aerodynamic and then met with this lady who looks like she does coke on the weekends. And weekdays.
And they ain't cheap.
Neither's your mom.
I'll be in touch.
Maybe you should be in touch with a better barber. Every Halo game has a sniping level, which sole purpose is to boost your ego and make you think you're the reincarnation of Chris Kyle. So you go on over to multiplayer and select Team Snipers, where dudes that haven't showered, hugged their parents, or ate anything that wasn't from a factory will make you feel like you're reliving JFK's last moments over and over again. We encountered the new Ark dinosaur. One time my friend's mom told him they had to get rid of their German Shepherd. A couple days later, at his cousin's second birthday, he grabbed the baby, threatening to soccer punt him onto the highway, exclaiming, "No dog, no baby," as a way to negotiate keeping his hound. They compromised at exchanging the German Shepherd for a smaller dog. Small dogs suck, so he threw it at an oncoming semi. He grew up to be Michael Vick. We found these immigrants who had enough armaments to take over Czechoslovakia. Was this legal? Absolutely not, but neither were they. We defended this hydroplant, which might seem unnecessary. There's literally water everywhere. What made this place so special? You won't find military-grade weapons so readily available anywhere else, except for the back-to-school section in American stores. The Covenant had set up this humidifier. You know what you could do with all the fucks I give? Nothing, cause there are none. With the humidifier down, these allergens attacked us. Never mind, that was just a Covenant. They're both so useless, I got them confused. I seriously don't know what God was thinking when he made Allergies. Twice a year, my nose gets runny and my will to live gets so low you couldn't even play limbo with it. Oh, I don't get allergies. Yeah, just like how you don't get hugs from your parents. Just moments ago, Cat had showed the driving ability of a seagull with its wings zip-tied behind its head. However, I'm all for second chances. You know what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, recreate Chernobyl. We then found the answer to the age-old idiom, what would happen if a plasma shooting tank went against a bigger plasma shooting tank? Him and Cat had the same driving instructor. We found a cool skyscraper. Most people use elevators, but there's always those CrossFit guys who would never step foot in an elevator except to tell you how great CrossFit is. Like, yeah, we get it, Dan. Your wife is cheating on you with our personal trainer. Now let me hate Mondays or do whatever people who work in offices do. The whole point of that 15 seconds of rambling was to hijack a plane instead of taking the normal route up. I then cinematically hopped in our flying car. Sure, landing it would have taken only an extra 15 seconds, and wouldn't have broken OSHA guidelines, but how cool does that look? This Covenant party bus then just invited itself, which was a problem. So we took a beach day. We did what you typically do on beach trips, building sandcastles, inhaling enough salt to identify as a McDonald's french fry, and alien genocide. We passed this race, which was not a threat. At all. But that didn't stop me from showing off just how much of a badass I am. I'm just like John Wick, except Caucasian. We then got into this Carnival Ride that went so high it felt like we were in the stratosphere. Probably because we were. And the hemisphere, plus all the other less important spheres that I can't be bothered to look up. The game then turned to futuristic Top Gun. This section was a lot of fun, except when you were getting hit from the back and couldn't do anything to stop it. Sounds a lot like prison. It was annoying. You know what else is annoying? When you get a haircut and people are like, "Did you get a haircut?" Like, no, the hair that's missing is just on vacation this week. Throughout the video, I have permanently borrowed tanks, ghosts, and even skyjacked airplanes. I decided to add a Covenant Corvette to that list. This doesn't come without risks, however. Once word gets out, I'll be in serious danger of drowning in pussy. Things went well until I ran out of DMR ammo, so I politely borrowed some without permission and then watched a 3D movie. One of the Marines with me was named Bald. The name was misleading since he actually had some hair on his head, so I took some off the top. Our plan, that had more holes in it than SpongeBob, had taken a turn for the worse. Color me surprised. What color would that be? According to Quora, it's NYPD blue. Or for the rest of us, whose parents aren't cousins, it's cyan. George sacrificed himself to blow up the party bus, and thank God he did that just for the Covenant to send about a dozen more. If he wasn't so fat, I'd say he's spinning in his grave. I read into these suicide grunts. It wasn't a problem since I've been to public school and was used to dealing with emos. You'd be in gym class and then a kid would hang himself from a pull-up bar and we'd be like, Mondays, am I right? I was almost a victim of an alien drive-by, and while that was happening, this dude was just standing there. That's literally the textbook definition of Darwinism. I went into this atrium, where I found these Covenant lackeys who had no qualms with running face first into my bullets. Keyword being mine. I can't tell if I'm fighting with the Army or the Girl Scouts. That makes one of us. I met up with these ODSTs that called themselves the Bullfrogs. Are you special forces or a middle school football team? In the lore, ODSTs actually hate Spartans, but these guys knew better since if they did, I would mail pipe bombs to all their families. It's a good thing he's here. I thought that was the coffee machine. Once I took the air out of this airplane, I got on a ship where I not only didn't remain seated, but stood right at the open door. Definitely not safe, but at least I got a cool pic for the gram. I shut off this device.
It's a trap. Get the hell out of there.
Thanks, Kat. I was planning on staying for tea. You know what being a 6'5" Spartan with the same lethality rating of the Master Chief himself gets you? Babysitting duty. I escorted them to this building, which a bunch of Covenant witnessed. They're all dead now, but nothing stopped them from reporting it in. I feel like we've made more problems than we solved. Luckily, none of those problems were mine, kinda like this group of Marines I was getting raw dogged by these hunters.
I got things under control, Lieutenant.
You definitely don't, but I respect that confidence. You know when you're watching a show, and there's those episodes that contribute nothing to the plot? You're only watching them because you've got nothing better to do. They're called filler episodes, which is exactly what this level was. It's like when you would go out with your mom, and you'd run errand after errand, with each one feeling even more useless. And I had a blast, since it's Halo Reach. I then went to this hospital where I had to take the SATs. Or this is what I imagine they're like. I never took them.
You've got incoming tangos.
I never would have noticed. Things weren't looking good. I was low on ammo, and these brutes hit like a gorilla on gear. But Noble 6 is like John Wick, except not an orphan. As well as brutes, there were elite rangers, which had the ability to move at the speed of light. While you're at it, you might as well give them the ability to teleport straight into my room and bitch slap me directly. I ended a Covenant camping trip and reunited with my team. It's been a stressful past couple of days, not just for Noble 6, but for me as well. I tend not to talk about my personal life, but the other day at work I had to do paid labor. It was difficult, but not as difficult as listening to Kat talk.
First glassing. Me too.
I honestly started zoning her out. She's having a conversation with herself at this point. Something which I didn't have to do for long. The sniper who killed Kat easily could have killed me, but Noble 6's Mjolnir comes with built-in plot armor. I flexed on the people that were missing fingers and did Kat's favorite activity, alien genocide. It was actually mine. Kat and I never really talked. She'd say something and I'd just nod my head and go, "Yo, for real?" until she would stop talking.
Might be a Scorpion that's still operational, 6. Take a look.
He probably thinks he's so cool. If we went to high school together, I probably would have bullied him.
Double time at 6, come on!
I just fought through half the Covenant army, but heaven forbid that 3 Spartans, who have a combined kill count comparable to the population of a small continent, take out a couple of elites. The Covenant have killed George, Kat, and billions of other humans, but that's nothing compared to them making me take the stairs. Genocide is bad, but nothing is worse than unnecessary cardio. My coaches used to say, run 4 laps around the track. Why do I have to run? It isn't gonna grow wings and fly away. Speaking of running, sprinting in Halo Reach requires you to have an armor ability. Imagine you're out with your boy, who asks you to go on a run, and you're like, I'd love to, but I left my ability to run in my other pants. We went into an ice cave where we found this cool laboratory. Sick LED lights, I wish mine did that. Dr. Halsey gave me what was, and I quote, humanity's last chance for survival, which was contained in a 60% glass container. Doesn't seem very practical. I guess we better hope that Noble 6 doesn't have sweaty hands. I guess your mom decided to play hopscotch. Can we just talk about how Emil and Noble 6 are in the direct line of fire, but Carter is the one who's mortally injured? Maybe if he had learned how to be on the brink of death a bit cleaner, we wouldn't have had to no bungee jump out of our plane. I tried air assassinating this elite and managed to only be off by about 2 solar systems. Honestly, all things considered, that could have been a lot worse. We hopped on a singular quad bike. I could already hear the Rule 34 artist going to work.
You've got a situation, mother.
No biggie, there's bound to be another way around.
No, you can't. Not without help.
I'm looking at Google Maps right now. If we backtrack slightly, we should be good. That works too. After disturbing this hive, I met up with Captain Keyes. If I knew he was going to be here, I would have worn something that wasn't covered in alien guts. Speaking of alien insides...
Who's next?
He just had to open his mouth. Mom said it was my turn on the really big gun, so I made the skies clearer than they were on 9/11. The Pillar of Autumn left without me. There's no reason why they couldn't have sent a Pelican to pick me up. They already have one fueled and flight ready. It'd take 5 minutes to fly, pick me up, and fly back. But that's not cinematic. What's cinematic is going to who knows where, probably Minnesota, and having one last stand with the Covenant. This is the best Halo mission. If it was a SpongeBob episode, it'd be the camping one. There's also these dead Spartans, which I'm infinitely better than since I'm not dead. Never mind.